Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Now, as always, we're going to reflect on the Premier League results from the weekend. So, City now have an 11-point lead at the top of the Premier League. Peter, as we've already said, Fred's paid out on City to win the title already, and it looks like they're going to head in that direction.
Well, I think that City just head and shoulders above everybody else now to beat Chelsea. And it might have been 1-0, but it could easily have been 3 or 4. Lukaku didn't function particularly well, and City just basically it's a matter of time when they score, and what a wonder goal from De Bruyne to settle it.
Yeah.
So I think there is a little concern, only a tiny concern I must add, for City's prowess in front of goal. Does seem to take them a ridiculous amount of time to actually get that breakthrough, and in Europe and the Champions League that could come back and haunt them, because of course, as we said before, that is very much so the holy grail for the Abu Dhabi owners to win the Champions League, and City of course haven't done it yet. I don't know, Guardiola wants to do that this season. It's his set aim to do so. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I think it goes to show just how good City have been this season, because Liverpool in great form under Jurgen Klopp. You've got to hand it to City. Pains me to say it, but you've got to hand it to him.
Well, it's just a strength, isn't it? He clearly has packed that midfield, not only in the first 11 but on the bench as well. And he clearly got his mind on certain types of players who are going to come in and out. Gundogan, for instance, he didn't start against Chelsea, but he needs a natural replacement should there be injuries to Foden or to De Bruyne. So he's got absolute quality. You look at Liverpool and they're scrambling a little bit now, although they did beat Brentford quite convincingly. They haven't got that strength, and the African Nations Cup has affected Liverpool much more than it has City.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while City are on fire, United drew 2-2 at Aston Villa in the late kick-off on Saturday evening. Peter, they had the 2-0 lead in that fixture, and then they just couldn't hold on to it. And as Roy Keane said in the post-match analysis, they just don't have that steel. You cannot look at one individual on that pitch who's going to keep or preserve that lead or drag them out of the mud.
No, I think he's put in a bit of an argument for himself there, because he would not have given up a 2-0 lead if Roy Keane had been playing, that's for sure. But it strikes me that they haven't quite got the character in the team. They haven't got a natural leader. They haven't got anyone who's going to railroad them through to kind of waste time and just force the victory. It was such a shame because they were in the driving seat there. But Aston Villa, with all the momentum, with Coutinho and all the euphoria around that, it was kind of written in the stars, wasn't it? Yeah. And it wouldn't have surprised me if Aston Villa hadn't gone and got a third and won that game. But there have been huge problems at United. They're just a bunch of Harlem Globetrotters sort of team, superstars who not necessarily play well as a team.
I think that's a bit too complimentary to him, because that's suggesting that it's a team full of quality individual players, but I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking, nowhere near quality.
Well, I think Cavani's struggling at the moment. I think Bruno Fernandes, he came back quite strong. Playing again on Wednesday, so we'll see again if they go differently. Sancho's lost form. Rashford didn't figure, of course.
Martial didn't even travel.
Well, yeah, he's denied that, mind you, hasn't he? So there's obviously some kind of something was said. Otherwise, he would have been on the bench, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going with that one. It seemed to me that the manager said he didn't want to travel, and then he says he was willing to, and he wouldn't let the fans down. I think the bottom line is that there is a difference of opinion of what was said in clearly what was an argument, and he didn't go. And he wants to move, and he may well be creating a situation that forces the move.
Well, one bright spark from the game, Anthony Elanga, the hot prospect, the youngster. You know, you're looking at his quality, his enthusiasm. It's great to see, and it's refreshing just to see a youngster come on the pitch, playing with freedom, attacking. That's what we want to see. That's what United's been built on over 20-odd years under Alex Ferguson. It seems to have disappeared over the past few years, but you need players like that for a bit of optimism.
Yeah, well, penny for the thoughts of Sancho and Rashford and even Ronaldo watching that and thinking this is a guy who could take our place, or at least challenge for our positions in the team. He's come from nowhere. He started at Villa, didn't he? And he, like you say, he's a breath of fresh air. It's interesting to see how he'll develop. Looks a little bit lightweight at the moment, but you know he's certainly got great speed and awareness. But it was great when he got that header in at the far post. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Getting that in there against Cash, who's a half-decent player.
Yeah, very down-to-earth lad as well. I spoke to him because he returned to his childhood club, Hattersley FC, about, I think it was in August time, something like that. And, you know, to return to your grassroots club when you're playing for Manchester United, there's no ego about him like the other players. That's what you need as well. You need players to be grounded, even though they are, you know, on the tip of doing something special.
Yeah, well, I always think that you should have the nucleus of the team should be from that area that you represent.
Yeah.
I mean, the Arsenal team not so long ago was all foreign players. And City have put out all foreign teams. That's changed now, mind you, with the progress of Foden and Cole as well. And I think it is important that the supporters see a club based on their area, or at least got some local heroes. So it's fantastic, the development of him at United.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, after the results from the weekend, the top four odds have changed. Peter, tell us a bit about how they have changed.
Well, Betfred have United have dipped to second favourite to get that top four, fourth place. I mean, we can take it as read that the top three are going to take the first three places in whatever order. City at the top, of course, and then Chelsea and Liverpool, or Liverpool, Chelsea. But Betfred have Arsenal next at 7-4, United 15-8, Spurs 9-4, West Ham, who slipped up yesterday, they're 11-2, and then of the outriders of the six chasing the fourth place, Leicester 33-1, and Wolves, they're coming in strong.
There we go.
Yeah, they're 50-1 now. So they're on the move there to try and sneak that fourth place, and that'll send wobbles to United and Arsenal and Spurs, because Wolves do look like an half-decent team, and I saw them against United, and they certainly grafted out that great win there.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, Betfred have Norwich still favourites despite the victory against Everton. Burnley, they're odds on now to be relegated 1-2. They've got a lot of games in hand, but they've got to get the points as well. They've got to win them. Watford, they're odds on to go down. Newcastle 10-11. They just can't buy that win, can they? And now Everton, massively in the mire now, 6-1 to be relegated with Betfred. Leeds 7-1.
Well, as Peter said then, Everton really in danger of getting relegated this season following that defeat to Norwich on Saturday. And you look at that result, that marked the end of Rafa Benitez's time in charge. He's been sacked. Who's in the running to replace him? I believe Roberto Martinez tipped to return to Goodison Park.
Well,
is that right?
He's Evans. He's probably the choice of the board, but I wouldn't rule out Wayne Rooney. Within an hour of the sacking being publicised by Everton, we had hundreds of bets, particularly in the Merseyside area, on Rooney to get that gig. He's doing fantastically well at Derby, and he would be the fans' choice, and it would be very difficult for him to turn that down. He would be his dream, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
that'll be United job, and that'll be way off him at the moment. But Martinez is the evens favourite with Betfred. Wayne Rooney 3-1. Big Dunk Ferguson is 7-2, third favourite. Frank Lampard 7-1. Now another clever one here. Graham Potter. Has he taken Brighton as far as he can? Does he want a big city club like Everton, a sleeping giant? He's 7-1, same as Frank Lampard. Nuno Espirito Santo 12-1, and then of the outsiders we've got Mourinho 33-1, Solskjaer 33-1, Let's look at some of the others here. Steve Bruce, that's not a bad one because he's got good reputation, gets stuck in. He's 33 to 1 as well. And then Big Sam Allardyce, 50 to 1. And if Everton's board want to push the boat out and go for the big name available at the moment, that would be Zinedine Zidane. He's 66 to 1 to take it. Don't chuckle too much because Everton are big spenders and they shell out on decent players. They've spent big on various stars over the years, and they certainly paid the wages. So I don't rule that out completely. But anyway, 66 to 1 with Betfred, Zidane. But the favourite, as you say, Roberto Martinez, Belgian boss, evens. Wayne Rooney, 3 to 1. So it's a kind of a clash there between what the board think is a sensible appointment, Martinez, and what the fans would want, which is all the euphoria and the excitement around Wayne Rooney, who is, surprisingly for me, doing an absolutely excellent job at Derby.
Yeah, it certainly is. So if you are feeling optimistic, Zinedine Zidane, 66 to 1 at Betfred to take charge of Everton. But if you think Wayne Rooney is going to return to his boyhood club to take charge of the Toffees, he is 3 to 1. Well, Peter, we're going to move into some rugby league news now because the Super League does return on the 10th of February. Excitement's building ahead of that, and of course, Betfred, a huge supporter of rugby league. They have been for years now, so the company must be really excited for this.
Yeah, we are. We can't wait, particularly with the additional interest with Channel 4 going to be broadcasting some of the games. But the opening gambit is on Thursday, February the 10th, with a rerun of the Betfred Grand Final. That's between St Helens and Catalans. Overall, outright winners for next season, we have St Helens 2 to 1 favourites. They'll be going for the 4th successive Grand Final victory. Warrington, who I suspect could be ready for upsetting the apple cart, with the new coach and some excellent recruitment. They're 7 to 2, second favourites. Catalan 6 to 1. Wigan, third favourites, 13 to 2. And from the other side of the Pennines, Leeds lead the charge for Yorkshire. They're 8 to 1. This year it'll be interesting because there's 2 French teams competing, not just Catalans but Toulouse. But Toulouse, the newcomers to the league, they're 100 to 1. Rank outsiders behind Salford at 66 to 1 and Wakefield.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're going to look ahead now to the Cricket World Cup taking place in October 2023. That's being held in India. India are the favourites to win the competition, but trailing closely behind are England, despite their awful performances at the Ashes.
Yeah, I mean, Lee said about that Ashes performance, it was absolutely diabolical. There were so many of us who were bleary-eyed this morning. I mean, we've had a week of getting up early to watch some of these games, but my God, that was a collapse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
50-odd runs for 10 wickets, pathetic. Betfred have India 9 to 4 to win the World Cup next year. England, as you say, surprisingly 3 to 1, second favourites, and Australia 4 to 1. You've got to say we do a lot better on the limited over games.
Yeah.
Now, there are reasons for this. First of all, in junior cricket in this country, players retire on 20 or 30 runs in all matches in junior cricket, right up to the sort of age 14, 15. Whereas in Australia, it's not unusual to have a 2-day game between teenagers.
Yeah.
And so they're taught to stay in.
Yeah.
To stay in is seen as a great accomplishment in Australia. Here, you hear people shout out, "It's out or get out." You know, they scream that fairly early when someone's blocking it. But now we need people to block it and stay on in there.
But I think in England, the longer format of the game, it's an afterthought now. The money is centred around 2020 cricket, not just in England, but with the Indian Premier League and stuff like that, and players follow the money. I think the ECB have abandoned the longer version of the game. What do you think?
Well, I think you've got a fair point there, but I also think that local cricket, to try and get a bit more interest going and get young people to carry on playing the game, should adopt a short-term game as well as the longer term, because who is going to sort of turn out at 10 o'clock and still be there at 7 o'clock in the evening. It's cricket all day. I mean, there's other things going on nowadays.
So England will have to put in a much improved performance at the 2023 World Cup if they are to stand a chance of succeeding. They are second favourites behind host India. And if you do fancy a punt on that already, Betfred stores are now open. But we've also got some upcoming football fixtures this week that you can also have a punt on. It's Brentford hosting Manchester United on Wednesday. Peter, the odds for this one, please.
Well, Betfred have Brentford 19-5 to win that, but United odds on 3-4, draw 11-4. And of the first goal scorer, they're just coming in now. We've got Ronaldo. Hopefully he'll be back. He's 3-1 to score the first goal with Betfred. Fernandes 7-2, and that was an excellent goal he scored against Philip. I mean, that was clever. That how he was able to do a quickish free kick. You know, just touch it and then catch the goalkeeper. Anyway, he's 7-2 to score the first goal. Cavani 4-1. And Mason Greenwood, who is on the verge of getting back to the best now, he's 11-2 to score the first goal at Brentford on Wednesday night.
So there you go then. If you do fancy a punt on that Premier League fixture between Brentford and Manchester United, Betfred stores are now open. But as always, you can bet online and buy their app.